effort I'm already making and
That's good.
reaching out. Those deteriorations happened as a party, not as an individual.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? Any of his experience
Example
with
of why our family broke
I know,
apart.
right? I have looked back and I've dissected my relationship with Robin.
The tension was already thick in the air when Christine finally hit send. A single post, barely more than a snapshot, appeared on her social media, and immediately the family's carefully held world started to crack. The image was grainy, almost accidental, but the words leapt off the screen. A figure that would make anyone's stomach drop. $100,000 in back child support. You could feel the weight of it, the immediate panic that must have surged through Kody the moment he saw it. How could a single post shake the family to its core? That's the question everyone watching this episode was left asking. The chaos didn't wait. Phones buzzed, whispers spread, and for a brief moment, it felt like time slowed down. Kody, frantic, is pacing. Phone clutched tight, muttering under his breath, trying to control something that was already out of his hands. Christine, calm but calculating, seems to hold the upper hand without ever raising her voice. Her move is deliberate. Each post, each leak, another piece in a puzzle that Kody now has no choice but to confront. The money, the custody, the court orders, it's all on display, and the tension is unbearable. Meanwhile, the audience is drawn in, unable to look away. Social media is alive with screenshots, fan speculation, and heated debates about what this means for the family. Every comment and repost adds to the pressure, turning private matters into public spectacle. Fans are dissecting every number, every phrase, every glance from the cameras. What started as a quiet family disagreement has now exploded into a media frenzy, and everyone can see the strain it's putting on relationships. The stakes are higher than ever. Christine's actions aren't just about the money. They're about exposing the truth, holding people accountable, and making sure her voice is heard. Kody's scrambling isn't just financial, it's emotional too. The pressure is building, and it's only a matter of time before the first cracks show in the family dynamic. Robin's reaction, the children's confusion, and the looming court deadlines create a perfect storm of tension. And while the world watches, Christine already seems to be thinking 3 steps ahead. Every move, every post, every carefully timed reveal is designed to shake the foundations, to turn private grievances into public consequences. The first wave has hit, but everyone knows it's only the beginning. What happens next isn't clear, but one thing is certain. No one in the family is going to walk away unchanged, and the real storm is just starting to gather. Last week's episode left everyone on edge. We saw the cracks in the family starting to widen. And if you thought things were tense before, well, the latest events proved just how quickly everything can spiral. Kody was juggling more than anyone should have to, managing multiple households, navigating the subtle tensions between his wives, and somehow trying to keep control over a financial mess that seemed to grow by the minute. And you could see it on his face: frustration, stress, and just a hint of panic every time money or schedules were mentioned. Meanwhile, Christine had begun to stake her ground. She wasn't subtle about it either. A few pointed comments here, a carefully timed story there, and suddenly the social feeds were buzzing. Fans were keeping track of every number, every glance, every sigh. The tension wasn't just inside the family anymore. It was spilling into the public sphere, and you could almost feel the audience leaning forward, waiting to see who would crack first. Today, the episode picks up with Kody scrambling to figure out how to manage finances he hadn't fully accounted for. Between back support obligations and court orders, there's pressure at every turn. You can almost hear him thinking, "Why did I let it get this far?" Meanwhile, Robin is trying to keep her calm while quietly juggling her own spending habits. which of course only adds fuel to the fire. Watching her manage those little domestic dramas while Kody's attention jumps from one crisis to the next feels like watching someone spin plates in the middle of a hurricane. You can't help but feel a mix of sympathy and disbelief. And then there's the family tension. Children picking up on every word, every argument, every subtle shift in mood. It's emotional. And you can see how the stakes go beyond money. This isn't just about who owes what. It's about trust, loyalty, and the emotional fallout of living under the weight of so many expectations. You see Kody trying to hold it together, but each conversation seems to dig him into a deeper hole. But here's where it gets wild. While Kody's struggling with logistics and emotions, Christine seems to be thinking a few steps ahead. Every action she takes is deliberate. Every post strategically placed to put the pressure back where it belongs. And just when you think the storm might calm, you start to realize the next move could shock everyone again. This episode isn't just about numbers or schedules. It's about who will hold their ground, who will bend, and who might completely lose control. And knowing Christine, you can bet she has something up her sleeve that will make Kody and the rest of the family stop in their tracks. The moment the news of the back support hit, the atmosphere in the family shifted instantly. You could feel it, even through the cameras. The kids were confused, whispering questions to one another, unsure how to process the tension swirling around them. Truly, the youngest caught in the middle seemed to sense something was wrong without fully understanding the details. The older children tried to stay neutral, but their glances toward Kody and Christine spoke volumes. Loyalty pulled them in different directions, and no one knew quite where to stand. For the wives, the stress was almost tangible. Robyn's calm demeanor couldn't mask the anxiety creeping into her voice. She wanted to support her family, but also protect her own household, all while watching Kody struggle under pressure. Janelle, on the other hand, was quieter, but her reactions were sharp, precise. You could see her calculating, observing every exchange, every financial move, knowing that any misstep could shift the delicate balance in ways she couldn't control. Even Mary seemed caught in the middle, trying to stay level-headed while silently watching loyalties shift and tensions spike. Kody's reactions were the opposite of calm. He was frantic, pacing, repeating the same lines under his breath about payments, court orders, and loans. His frustration with the numbers was matched only by the pressure of keeping the family aligned. Every question from a wife, every concerned look from a child seemed to magnify the weight on his shoulders. He was trying to patch together solutions quickly, but each move felt temporary, like he was trying to hold water in his hands. Meanwhile, Christine's approach was calculated and deliberate. She knew exactly what she was doing. Each post, each carefully timed comment added pressure without her ever raising her voice. She watched the chaos unfold almost like a chess game, moving pieces methodically while Kody reacted instinctively and emotionally. The contrast between them couldn't have been more stark. Her control versus his scramble, her calm strategy versus his visible panic. And that tension created shifting alliances across the family. Some children quietly sided with Christine's perspective, understanding the fairness of her position. Some wives leaned into caution, wanting to avoid conflict, but also silently cheering when Kody struggled to keep it all together. Every interaction, every glance, every subtle movement added to the emotional storm. But the emotional tension isn't the only thing simmering. Behind the scenes, the financial and legal gears are starting to turn, and the next revelation isn't just going to test relationships. It could change the family situation in ways no one is prepared for. What comes next could shift loyalties, upend plans, and bring the first real consequence of all this drama crashing down. The moment the court documents landed on the table, the reality of the situation hit like a punch. Utah's custody and child support rules are strict, and Kody quickly realized there was no wiggle room. Back support wasn't just a number, it was $100,000 plus. And the law didn't care about excuses or tight schedules. If payments weren't made on time, the state could garnish wages directly, attach liens to property, and even access investment accounts. That weight pressed down on him immediately, and you could see the panic starting to creep in. For someone juggling multiple households and financial responsibilities, the deadlines were merciless. Every delayed check could trigger automatic enforcement. Every misstep could make the problem worse. Kody moved from one call to another, trying to figure out loans, hoping for quick cash solutions, while Robyn quietly monitored spending in her own home. She wasn't saying much, but the tension in her eyes told the story. Every decorative purchase, every small indulgence, suddenly felt like it might tip the balance. The garnishment schedule added another layer of pressure. The court didn't just set numbers, they set dates. Missing even one installment could trigger compounding interest, making the total owed skyrocket. And for Kody, who had previously tried to handle everything informally, this system forced him into strict compliance. He could argue, negotiate, or plan, but the state's machinery moved fast and without mercy. Watching him scramble for short-term loans and potential asset liquidation, you could feel the urgency in every scene. It wasn't just about money, it was about keeping the family from feeling the full impact of the court order. Christine, on the other hand, remained calm and methodical. Her actions throughout this period weren't just about the financial number. They were about leverage and timing. Every public reveal, every subtle social post kept the pressure high while she stayed in control. Unlike Kody, she didn't need to panic. She was strategically applying pressure while observing the ripple effects across both the family and the finances. And while the court orders are concrete, the tension doesn't stay behind closed doors. Fans on social media are already dissecting every number, speculating on consequences, and waiting to see Kody's next move. The combination of legal deadlines, financial scrambling, and family friction creates a storm that feels impossible to escape. Every decision he makes now has immediate consequences, and every delayed payment has a public echo waiting online. Just when it seems Kody might find a solution, the next twist is about to hit from a direction he hadn't fully accounted for. Media attention and social reaction are ready to amplify the chaos, and Christine's strategic moves could turn this legal and financial battle into a full-blown public spectacle. What comes next won't just challenge his finances, it might redefine the family dynamic entirely. The moment Christine shared that manuscript page, the calm shattered. One blurry photo, one bold line about back support, and suddenly, social media was on fire. Screenshots flew everywhere, fans analyzed every word, and hashtags like PayUpKody and Truly Deserves Justice started trending within minutes. The chaos was immediate. People weren't just reading, they were calculating, comparing, dissecting every dollar, every line, every past episode for clues. You could almost feel the collective frenzy building in real time. Kody, meanwhile, was a storm in motion. Watching the posts pop up, refreshing feeds obsessively, his anxiety grew with every screenshot and every comment. Phone calls, texts, and frantic planning filled the hours as he tried to regain control, but the moment had already escaped. Each new fan theory felt like another jab, each social media reaction another mirror, showing just how out of control the situation had become. He couldn't silence the leaks, he couldn't stop the speculation, and every attempt to respond only made it bigger. Fans were relentless. They dug into previous episodes, counting moments Kody had promised support or flaunted spending. They compared these clips to the new leak, debating in comment threads, Reddit discussions, and fan forums. The audience became an unofficial investigative team, piecing together events to see the full picture. Some jokes even surfaced about the family's obsession with dolls and decor, sparking threads full of playful mockery, while others were more serious, calculating what the financial fallout might be. You couldn't scroll for 5 minutes without seeing someone reference that single leaked page. Meanwhile, Christine stayed calm, watching as the dominoes fell exactly where she intended. She didn't post any reaction herself, she didn't explain or clarify. Each pause, each measured release of information, kept the suspense alive. It wasn't just about exposing numbers. It was about demonstrating control and precision, while the other side scrambled in real time. And that's where the real drama intensifies. Every leaked line, every audio clip, every subtle hint she drops pushes Kody further into panic and the audience further into fascination. You start to realize this isn't just a private dispute anymore. It's a public event, a slow-motion spectacle where every reaction, every glance, every new reveal is analyzed and amplified. The question now is impossible to ignore. With Christine holding the next chapter close and social media pressure mounting by the hour, what will she reveal next? Will it be another financial bomb, a hidden voicemail, or something even more explosive? Kody's scrambling can only last so long before the next revelation hits. And when it does, nothing about this family will feel the same again. Kody's public face is calm, measured, even charming. But behind closed doors, it's a different story. Frustration builds in bursts, threats whispered, deals pushed, phone calls that seem to hum with tension. Every move he makes is an attempt to control the narrative, to regain ground he's already lost. You can see the effort, the mental calculations, the way he measures his words in public versus how sharp and urgent they become in private. Robyn is caught in the middle, juggling her own anxieties while trying to protect the family's stability. Her spending, her careful management of assets, and even the occasional panic over collectibles create tension with Kody. It's subtle, but you can feel the friction, the silent questions, the side glances, the weighing of priorities. The family's financial reality clashes with the emotional reality, and Robyn's decisions become symbols of that struggle. Meanwhile, the children are watching it all. Small gestures, whispered arguments, hurried explanations. They notice more than the adults realize. Their reactions are honest, raw, and sometimes heartbreaking. You see loyalty, confusion, and frustration flicker across their faces. It's not just money or custody, it's the strain on relationships, the subtle erosion of trust, and the uncertainty that shadows every interaction. And Kody's private attempts to regain control? They aren't working as smoothly as he hopes. Every maneuver, every quiet threat seems to collide with the reality of social media scrutiny and the meticulous planning Christine has put into her leaks. He tries to project authority, but cracks are appearing in plain sight, and fans are noticing. Wait until you see how he reacts when the next wave of pressure hits. The tension in the household is palpable. The audience can feel it in every heated glance, every whispered negotiation, every calculated pause. It's a delicate balance. One wrong move could tip everything into chaos. The next confrontation is building quietly, but it promises to be intense. Secrets, financial stakes, and personal grievances are all converging. When it finally explodes, it won't just affect the adults, it will ripple through the family and leave an impact that changes everything. The question is, who will emerge unshaken, and who will crumble under the pressure? The moment Christine's manuscript page and voicemail snippets hit social media, the internet exploded. Fans grabbed screenshots, dissected every word, and started connecting dots no one outside the family had noticed. Reddit threads lit up with calculations, analyzing child support numbers, potential asset liquidations, and the exact timeline of court orders. Every new post felt like a live feed into a private conflict that suddenly became public entertainment. Hashtags trended almost immediately. Fans debated who was in the right, who was manipulating the situation, and who was going to crack first. Some sympathized with Christine, admiring her strategy and precision. Others scrutinized Kody, pointing out inconsistencies between what he says on camera and how he behaves behind closed doors. It was chaotic, addictive, and completely consuming for the audience. You could feel people leaning in, refreshing pages, hunting for the next piece of evidence. Even casual viewers got pulled into the frenzy. The story became a shared experience. Family drama turned collective obsession. Comments poured in under posts, some supportive, some scathing, all analyzing the smallest details. The tension, the suspense, the legal and financial stakes. It all made people feel like they were witnessing history unfolding. Everyone had an opinion, and the pressure of public judgment was a new kind of battlefield for the family. Kody's attempts to manage the narrative were visible but ineffective. He tried to stay ahead of the leaks, but with every post Christine made, he lost more control. Fans speculated wildly about what she would reveal next. Would it be another financial revelation? A hidden voicemail? Something that could tip the family balance completely? And that's the part that keeps everyone glued to their screens. Because every time you think the chaos has peaked, Christine finds a way to escalate it. Social media isn't just reporting the drama, it's amplifying it, turning private disputes into a spectacle that the whole audience can dissect in real time. The next bombshell is coming, and it promises to hit harder than anything before. Will Kody manage to respond, or will the leaks continue to reshape the family's story in ways no one can predict? The tension is building, and the fallout could change everything. Tensions in the house were electric. Every conversation felt like walking a tightrope, where one wrong word could ignite another argument. Kody paced the living room, phone clutched tight, muttering about deadlines, garnishments, and loans he hadn't secured yet. Robyn tried to keep things steady, but even she couldn't hide the frustration. Every luxury purchase, every boutique item, seemed to spark a silent judgment from the rest of the family. Christine remained calm, her expressions controlled but sharp. She dropped lines that cut deep, referencing past promises and financial missteps, and the weight of her words hung in the room. The children watched from the sidelines, sensing the tension without fully understanding all the details. Their quiet glances and hesitations made the arguments feel heavier. It wasn't just money, it was loyalty, fairness, and family bonds being tested in real time. Leaked messages had already made their way into social media, fueling whispers and speculation. Kody's threats about controlling funds or halting payments backfired, as fans scrutinized his every move. Even small arguments about bills or asset management turned into proof of a fractured alliance. Each exchange exposed vulnerabilities, and the family's private drama became a public lesson in tension and betrayal. Every word, every look seemed calculated. Christine's precise approach contrasted with Kody's reactive panic. Alliances shifted quietly, subtle gestures and side comments revealing loyalties. Janelle and Mary seemed to navigate the conflict differently, observing, supporting, and occasionally intervening, but never fully escaping the swirling storm of tension. And then, just when it felt like the arguments had peaked, a new revelation emerged. A document, a line from the memoir, a previously hidden financial detail, something that could tip the balance entirely. Eyes widened, voices hushed, and everyone waited, unsure who would take the next step or what consequences it would unleash. The family's fractures were no longer subtle. They were exposed, raw, and unavoidable. And as one person prepared to make a move, the audience knew something monumental was about to surface, something that could change custody arrangements, finances, and alliances forever. The room was thick with tension. Kody's frustration had reached a boiling point. His hands trembled slightly as he held the latest notice of garnishment. Every dollar now a symbol of pressure he couldn't escape. The financial weight was crushing, but it was more than money, it was control slipping through his fingers. Every calculated move he had made seemed to be unraveling right before him. Christine, on the other hand, stood steady. Her eyes were sharp, her tone deliberate, and her posture radiated quiet authority. Every word she spoke reminded Kody of promises broken, obligations ignored, and the power she had quietly built by staying methodical while he panicked. Robin lingered nearby. Torn, she had always tried to be the glue, balancing family and financial responsibilities, but the chaos surrounding them forced her into impossible choices. Should she continue covering expenses, risking further financial strain on herself, or take a stand and protect her own assets? The emotional conflict was written across her face, a mix of loyalty, frustration, and fear. The children, sensing the undercurrents, watched silently. Their small gestures, a clenched fist, a nervous glance, a quiet sigh, spoke volumes. They were witnesses to a family fracture that no one could ignore. Outside the walls of the home, the social media frenzy intensified. Leaked manuscript lines and audio snippets fueled speculation, and every post or comment seemed to fan the flames. Kody's every move was dissected, his mistakes amplified, and the pressure of public scrutiny collided with private panic. The tension wasn't only internal anymore, it was magnified, unstoppable, and inescapable. Fans debated, calculated, and judged, but inside the home, the human cost was real. Every confrontation, every raised voice felt pivotal. Christine's calm, calculated stance contrasted sharply with Kody's flustered energy, highlighting the imbalance of power. Robin's inner struggle added layers of complexity, making the audience empathize with the impossible position she faced. And as arguments spilled over from financial missteps to questions of loyalty and fairness, the stakes became personal. Then came the moment that pulled everything tighter. A voicemail surfaced, one that could shift custody leverage, expose financial truths, and change alliances. Eyes widened, hearts raced, and silence filled the room as everyone realized the implications. Nothing had been resolved yet. Every decision, every move in the next hours could determine the trajectory of the family's fragile balance. The fallout was imminent, and no one could predict who would emerge intact and who would fracture completely. The next chapter was waiting, unseen, and it promised to upend everything. By the time the cameras stopped rolling, the room still hummed with tension. Christine had made her moves, deliberate and unwavering, and the impact was visible everywhere. Kody, once so confident in his control, now seemed cornered, weighed down by financial pressures, custody obligations, and the very public fallout of his actions. Robin's quiet anxiety lingered in every glance, every decision. As she tried to balance loyalty with practicality, the children, silent but alert, had witnessed a family shifting in real time, their small gestures revealing confusion, fear, and hope all at once. What made this episode unforgettable was not just the numbers or the court orders, it was the human reality behind them. Christine's methodical steps had sparked real change, showing the power of patience and strategy over panic. Kody's frantic attempts to regain control highlighted just how thin the line between authority and vulnerability can be. And Robin, caught in the middle, represented the heart of the family, trying to hold things together while feeling the weight of decisions that weren't fully hers. Every interaction, every emotional beat reminded viewers why these dynamics are so compelling, because they're real, raw, and relatable. But the story is far from over. Next time, tensions explode further. One wife reaches her breaking point, making a decision that could redefine the family's future. Loyalties will be tested, secrets might spill, and the emotional stakes will climb even higher. The dynamics we've watched unfold are only the beginning, and the consequences will ripple through every relationship, every financial move, and every court proceeding. Now, I want to hear from you. If you were in this family, watching these events unfold, would you stay and fight for what matters, or walk away to protect yourself and your children? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's see how you would handle this chaos. As the episode closes, remember this: the drama isn't finished. The financial battles, custody tensions, and personal betrayals are far from resolved. Every decision made now will set the stage for what comes next, and one unexpected revelation could change everything. Keep watching, because the next chapter promises shock, emotion, and moments you won't see coming.